What's up? I'm Nizza.
I'm Scott McIntosh.
Bobby
We're
Belfiore.
No, dude.
No
come
good?
on. They're good. Don't worry about it. It's
What
fine.
you doing, me?
See, he's already jumped in the gun. But that's how this thing is. It's
I'll be
no
all right.
frills. It's unscripted, whatever it is.
No
but it's
pills,
loud
unscripted.
and it's proud. And we're loud and proud. And this is how it's going to be. All right, our first guest to kick this off is our sound man, the legendary Bobby Belfiore.
Give it up. Yeah.
Golf clap. All right, Bob. What is your first musical memory?
My first musical memory was cutting out of junior high school and hanging out behind the Fillmore, trying to get in to see shows for free, which became a big habit.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. What got you into music?
I couldn't play an instrument, and everybody always told me you make more money working for a band than you can playing in one, so that's the direction I went.
So speaking of that, what bands or artists have you worked with in the past?
Oh, many years ago, when I got out of the Army, I worked for a guy that owned a clothes store on Rockaway Avenue in Valley Stream, Freddie Toscano. Became known as Freddie Frogs.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Fred. But I moved his amps, and he bought a little PA, and we all learned how to use it. And from there, I worked for another couple of local guys for free, for burgers and to get in a show for free. And things went off from there. There were no jobs at the time, so a buddy of mine bought a PA system for his band. Of course, the band didn't make any money, so they were looking for a sound company to come into Max's Kansas City when the second era was started with Tommy and Laura Dean after the Ruskin and Sewell people. And I wound up working in there. Neither one of us knew too much what to do, but worked out. I stayed there till 1981. I was the house engineer there. And in between that, I did go out on the road with a number of bands. Nobody big, but there's an old saying, sometimes you're better off being a big fish in a little pond than a little fish in a big pond. And that's the way I went.
Cool.
Yeah. You done a lot of work with Johnny Thunders.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
1975 or so, right before the old Max's closed, a couple of buddies of mine, Vinnie Matlin, who would later be the drummer in the BMTs, and Lucky Seven, we went to see the Heartbreakers, no band, Johnny Thunders, Jerry Nolan, and they were to play there for a few nights. I worked those few nights, got along with John, Walter, Jerry, Billy, and wound up going out doing sound for them. That was a real trial by fire, but it worked out. I worked for him and toured with him on and off until about the end of 1985, at which time I pretty much left the business full time and did things on a more part-time basis until I semi-retired a number of years ago and started doing things full-time again. And right now I'm the house engineer at a small club in Valley Stream, and I'm the principal engineer, road manager, and chief cook and bottle washer with MFU.
So getting back into working with Johnny and all those cats from New York Dolls, what was you have any crazy stories going out on the road with these guys? Because they're legendary,
A lot. Some stuff's not good for TV, but yeah, it was. Let's say it was an experience. It was something different all the time.
You're keeping the code, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the when in Manhattan, leave it in Manhattan.
Well, it's no secret that there was a lot of drug problems in that band at that time. I'm sure you've seen some really crazy things happen.
Well, it wasn't really drug problems because they were very good at it. So it wasn't a problem. But yeah, that was. It's sad to say that drugs played a fairly large part of what went on, which hurt. It hurt all of them. Record companies, management companies. They backed off. It was very hard to get management It was hard to get an agent. People could say what they want though. For everything that went on, these guys never missed a show. Maybe went on a little late. Never missed a show in the years I worked for them.
Well, you're still good friends with Walter and
Sure, yeah.
Billy, the ones that are survived.
Well, Billy I haven't seen in many years until last year. They had a 30th reunion for Max's at the Delancey in Manhattan. I think it was there at Kenny's. I happened to be in the Midwest with MFU, so I didn't go. But I came back for the last night at Otto's in Lower Manhattan, and I saw Billy Rath. I hadn't seen him in over 30 years.
Otto's is a good place to play.
Otto's is a nice place. It's small. The production leaves a lot to be desired, so do the bathrooms. But, yeah, it's a nice place. It's like a...
Tell me it's as bad as CBGB's?
No.
How about Coney Island High?
Coney Island High, I remember Steven put the PA in there when they opened up, and I helped them put it in, but I never worked over there. But I remember how clean it was. One night I was leaning against the wall, and like 3 cockroaches fell down my back. So it was a
Nice.
pretty clean place. CB still holds the record for being the least likely place to take a shit.
I actually took a shit in Coney Island High, and it was like 3 to 4 inches of mucky, disgusting swamp ass, piss, vomit, shit, cum, disgusting to get to the bowl. And it wasn't like a stall. It was just one bowl in the middle of the room. And yeah, I happened to relieve myself in there, and I was totally out of my mind. I wouldn't have done it straight, but
You did a lot of stuff at Max's Kansas City too, right?
Yeah, I was part owner in a sound company there from late 1976 until they closed in 1981. My partner in crime also, Steve Bondi, who also had the PA in Great Gildersleeves, and later on the Marquee, Maxwell's in Hoboken, the Cat Club. The club scene, I'd say in the early 90s, did a big 180. It went to nothing. Now what I'm seeing, a lot of small clubs are opening up again, and it's giving a lot of people places to play.
It's about time.
A lot of unsigned acts get to play.
it's the way it should be.
Got to start playing somewhere.
Well, now you're talking about the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. What now are you listening to? Like anything like
I'm listening to almost anything. I'll listen to almost anything. I'll hear it once. If I like it, I'll continue to listen to it. My roots still go back to 70s punk and 60s R&B.
Good stuff.
One goes with the other. At one time, I knew who Carl Perkins was. I knew who Johnny Bennett was, and these other cats. But the word rockabilly didn't mean much to me. And Levi Dexter and the original Rock Cats were being brought over from England under the tutelage and management of Lee Blackchilders, and I had to mix them for a 3-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. As a matter of fact, on one night the Cramps opened up, and the other two, I believe the Senders and the Victims opened up for them. So Peter Crowley, who was definitely the lead professor at Rock and Roll University, he had to give me a crash course on rockabilly. And I've dug the stuff ever since. Today, I can take it in small doses, not constantly.
And we could tell some pretty good road stories about Mr. Belfiore
yeah,
ourselves.
sure. We actually we wouldn't be having this interview if it wasn't for this man right here. Actually did save Bobby Belfiore's life a couple of months ago. But can't get into that right now. But we did have a great time. He's one of the best in the business running sound, Definitely knows what he's doing behind there. And always, if you have a 4-piece band, always the 5th member of the band is your sound guy.
That's right. The most important man in your band is the sound man.
Because if you sound like shit, there's no sense, There's no sense to even play. You got to make sure that your stuff is projected right and so it can be well received.
I got my story about Mr. Belfiore here is if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. Bobby is who brought me to New York, brought MFU to New York for the very first time. And since then, and it was all over Johnny Thunders. And since then, we became very good friends. And obviously, we now, travel the country together. So.
That's very cool. Now, Bobby, if you had the opportunity right now to meet anybody, if they're dead or alive now, who would it be?
Dead or alive? It's dead and alive too. Lemmy from Motorhead.
Nice.
That's great.
Seen him a couple of times. Never met the guy, but there's a guy that's probably been the biggest opening act in the last 35 years.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah, that's the man.
Lemmy is very cool. I actually got the opportunity to meet him in Amsterdam. I went there about 4 or 5 years ago, and you want to talk about crazy. That's crazy right there. But Lemmy was, I met him and Zach Wilde backstage at a Fields of Rock festival, and we got to watch Iron Maiden on the side of the stage. But not even talking about Iron Maiden, talking about Motorhead. I got to see them on the side of the stage. Now, for a 3-piece band, Motorhead is one of the fullest sounding bands you will ever see. Unreal. So that's kind of cool that you would pick Lemmy to meet him, because Lemmy is definitely a rock god to the umpteenth power.
Well, those are the guys when Phil Spector, what he was known for was his wall of sound with layering of background musicians, sounds, noises. Motorhead is the 3-piece wall of sound.
Yes, that's very cool. It's true.
They didn't need Phil Spector.
Yeah. No one's going to have
no
Phil
one
for a
needs
while.
Phil Spector.
Well, I heard Phil's managing a couple of bands at San Quentin. So.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we can make Phil Spector our douchebag of the week.
Yeah,
There you
Phil
go.
Spector. Thank you, Phil. You've actually made the first official douchebag of the week. Not only, remember, douchebag of the century.
That's possible, yeah.
But,
Anybody kills a woman in her house.
or holds a band hostage for a few days without letting them leave, and releasing an album like End of the Century. I don't know.
You know, he spent almost 3 weeks mixing and remixing that album. It's over and over again.
As much as I love the Ramones, that's one album I wish they would have had a different production on.
Yeah.
Well, it did
It's
introduce.
a great album, great songs.
It did introduce Ronnie Spector to Joey Ramone.
Yeah.
They went on to record stuff together. If they were playing in town and she happened to be there, she was always the welcome guest on stage.
I think that's where about me and Phil Spector meet on the same page. We both have a sweet tooth for the chocolate ladies. We do share that common interest. But I still love my girl.
You had to put that in.
Of course, man. I'll get my ass kicked if I don't. Because women actually do run this whole world, if you guys didn't know that.
You don't have a whole lot of choice in them.
No. All right, we're going to come up to this segment right now. We're going to say a word, and whatever pops into your head, or a phrase, or a person's name or something, whatever pops into your head, Bob, you just fire away, all right? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'll be back.
Gilgo Beach.
I'll be back.
I'll definitely be back.
Fish.
Ronnie Spector.
Prison.
Wouldn't want to be there?
Jesus.
Christ.
Obama.
My favorite president.
Dog.
Ronnie Spector.
Ice cream.
Ronnie Spector.
New York.
Johnny Thunders, I guess.
And Charlie Sheen.
2.5 Men minus 1.
Well, there you have it. We want to thank our first official guest on Loud and Proud, the always funny, always entertaining, man of 1,000 words in 1 minute, Mr. Bobby Belfiore.
Give it up for
Thank you.
It's been a
Thanks
pleasure.
a lot, Bob. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Hope to do a couple more 1,000 gigs with you.
And we'll be having you back on.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
No problem.
And
Loud
take it
and
easy.
Proud. Thank you.
See you next time.